If you follow seasonal anime or is just a fan of anime in general, then you may have come across the term Isekai at least once. It is a word that literally translates from Japanese into English, meaning another world. But the word is also being used to name a subgenre of fantasy that sends a character from our world into a fantasy world. But why did this subgenre explode in popularity? Well, the Isekai genre is nowhere near from new. It has been used since the 1990s and the early 2000s, with shows like Magic Knight Rayearth, Inuyasha, and Dot Hack. Their stories being driven by the protagonist's quests to either find answers of where they are or find their way back home. While these shows had garnered their own popularity, they did not have the same genre-defining impact that one particular show had. That show being Sword Art Online. This show is what sparked the Isekai genre straight into the mainstream. Mostly because of its fleet of relatable characters, its compelling story, and most importantly, its concept. Sword Art Online has its characters, people from all walks of life, and traps them into a game. They're unable to log out and leave, as well as being given a consequence that if they die in the game, they die in real life. Changing their entire perception of the world from becoming just a lighthearted video game, to facing the fact that they may lose their life in their quest to free themselves from the game world. This led the majority of the player base accepting life in the digital world, with only a handful of people trying to fight their way out. This concept is what propelled the Isekai genre into greater heights. More and more do we see shows that use the concept of individuals being trapped in another world, like No Game No Life, Konosuba, Rising of the Shield Hero, and reincarnated as a slime, but changing the motivation of the protagonists. Rather than having a constant venture to find their way back home, we see them accept life in another world, starting new in a strange foreign land, given powers to do greater things with their lives that they didn't or simply couldn't in their past life, not wanting to find their way back, essentially becoming a new beginning. This could be due to the fact that the protagonists are usually some sort of social outcast that has died in our world, removing their bond from our reality. But what does this have to do with its explosion in media? Well, to put it in simple business terms, it is both easy to produce and highly marketable. I say that they're easy to produce because if we look at the new releases for fantasy manga and light novels, which are the source material for a good amount of anime, we can see that a majority of them tend to use the Isekai subgenre. Not only that, but a few of them tend to follow the same tropes to the point where it looks like two authors walked up to each other and said, "Hey, can I copy your homework?" "Sure, just change it a bit so the company wouldn't notice." I say that these stories are highly marketable because most of them tend to cater to troubled students, overworked office staff, and perhaps people who are in deep distress and simply need a means of escape. These type of people come out in droves in a perfectionist society like Japan, where everything needs to be in good quality in order not to dishonor their parents or company. These works provide an escapist feel that will help them forget about the stress and continue moving on in our world. But no matter how different or similar each isekai work can be, or for whatever reason we view them, most fans of the genre can agree that each story is a new beginning.